I'm going to read a small piece to you. What you do doesn't determine whether your work is sacred or not. How and why you do it does. This is a story, a devotion written by John Maxwell. But I only using this as a jumping off part because what I'm going to say today is that in order to receive the mantle of God, you have to desire it. You have to want to do the work of God before you can do the work of God. There's an old Indian word that I used to have hanging in my office. It's at home somewhere. Maybe I ought to find it again. It's called you gotta wanna. And if you don't want to do something, it won't get done. But if you, within your heart, want to do the will of God, the will of God will be accomplished through you because you have chosen to do it. And the reason you've chosen to do it and do it excellently, the why is because you want to satisfy the hunger that you have to serve the living God. When Elijah was doing all the miracles, do you realize that God could have used a donkey? God could have used a pig, or a sheep, or a lamb, or a goat. Today in our society, God has chosen to use us, human beings. Human beings that have a hunger and a desire to follow after the will of God. The will of God in my life is to do what God is giving me to do, but do it as well as I can. That's one of the reasons that we spend time putting together the sound and the video in this church. It's one of the reasons that my choir goes to rehearsal and practices. It's one of the reasons that even though my sermons look like they're off the wall and helter-skelter, I spend 2 to 3 hours standing at that pulpit and going over them when there's no one else in the room. Why? Because I want to be the very best I can be for the God who gave me His best, His Son, His life for mine. I'm redeemed, but I'm redeemed by the blood of the Lamb. You see, the book of Revelation says something really important about that. There's a battle going to come. And there's a time when time in this world will, you think it's bad now. And it says that there was a number so great that they couldn't be numbered. And that number had washed their robes in the blood of the Lamb. And it's the word of their testimony and the blood of the Lamb that has redeemed them from all the walks and lives and nations and countries and world. Why? Because they chose not to bow, as all the people in Daniel and Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael's time did. But they were victorious over the lion's den. They were victorious over the burning fiery furnace. Why? Because they chose to be excellent for God. You can too. Give your best to the Master.